What led Celtics to sign Luka Garza with limited NBA minutes? The Boston Celtics have agreed to a 2-year, fully guaranteed contract with center Luka Garza, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. The deal is a minimum salary contract, worth roughly $5.5 million over the 2 seasons. Garza, 26, is entering his 5th NBA season. He started his career with the Detroit Pistons before spending the last 3 years with the Minnesota Timberwolves. In Minnesota, the Bosnian-American big man averaged 4.5 points and 1.6 rebounds in just 6.3 minutes per game across 92 appearances. Garza has never played more than 8.7 minutes per game in Minnesota, and his career-high average came during his rookie season with Detroit in 2021-22, when he logged 12.2 minutes per game after being selected 52nd overall. With the Celtics losing Kristaps Porzingis to the Hawks and Luke Kornet to the Spurs, and Al Horford attracting significant interest from other teams, their frontcourt rotation is quite thin. Currently, only Xavier Tillman and Neemias Queta are under contract for the frontcourt. Boston Celtics lose Luke Kornet to Spurs in free agency. The Celtics lost one of their key reserves in free agency as Luke Kornet is headed to the Spurs. Kornet agreed to a 4-year, $41 million deal with San Antonio, a source confirmed to Mass Live, as the big man got an expected big contract on the open market. ESPN's Shams Charania was the first to report the deal. Kornet, 29, enjoyed a breakout season with the Celtics, as he earned consistent playoff minutes, doing so while playing on a veteran's minimum contract. But that also meant he was a potential target for a team like San Antonio that had the means to sign the reserve to a lucrative deal. Kornet had yet to get a big-time deal in the league, but he now gets some long-term security as he'll back up all-star big man Victor Wembanyama in San Antonio. He turned down money to sign with the Celtics last offseason, but the opportunity for such a significant pay raise was hard to turn down this summer. Boston had bird rights on Kornet, so it were technically able to offer the big man any deal, but the Celtics were limited with their budget due to their presence of the repeater tax. The Celtics currently sit $15 million over the luxury tax line, but the repeater tax penalties are severe for Boston next season. Those penalties would have cost the Celtics tens of millions more beyond Kornet's salary if they matched the Spurs offer without cutting money elsewhere. With Al Horford also heavily rumored to depart to the Warriors on the opening night of free agency, the Celtics are left with a very thin depth chart currently at the big spot. Neemias Queta and Xavier Tillman are the only true bigs on the 15-man roster as of Monday night.
Warriors among several contenders pushing Celtics Al Horford in free agency. The Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks, and Denver Nuggets have reportedly expressed interest in signing Boston Celtics free agent center Al Horford, according to a report by Michael Scotto of Hopship. Scotto added that the Celtics are also hoping to resign Horford. While other prominent free agent payment like Julius Randle, Nas Reid, Santi Aldama, Brook Lopez, Luke Kornet, and Clint Capella have already agreed to terms on new contracts, Horford is one of the few proven veteran centers still unsigned. Horford averaged 0 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assists in 27 minutes per game, 60 games. Last season weighed the Celtics on 423, 363. 895 shooting. In 11 postseason games, Horford averaged 0 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists in 38 6 minutes per game on 472, 857 shooting. As the Warriors search for a solid rim protector who can stretch the floor and lessen the center workload on Draymond Green, Horford may be the last remaining free agent option that checks out of those boxes. Horford is far from a perfect player, and it's hard to feel confident banking on a player who will turn 40 in June, but the Warriors have a limited financial flexibility. If the listed teams are the only competition for Horford, the Warriors would seem like the favorites. The Lakers have been more heavily linked to DeAndre Ayton, who is expected to become a free agent in a few days after he clears waivers following a buyout deal with the Blazers. The Cavaliers, Knicks, and Nuggets all have entrenched starting picks at both power forward and center. Golden State is seemingly the only team among the listed suitors that can offer Horford a starting spot outside of Boston. Moreover, all of these teams are likely only in position to offer Horford the same contract, using the taxpayer mid-level exception. While Horvath was expected to finish his career with the Celtics, Jason Tatum's postseason injury has thwarted their championship hopes in 2025-26. At this point in his career, if Horvath is hoping to play for a title once again, he will probably have to go elsewhere. The Celtics do have a financial advantage, however, capable of using Bertrix to offer him more than the taxpayer mid-level exception tab the Warriors can offer. LeBron James and Stephen Curry are two of the greatest players in basketball history. One of the best NBA players in history has fought epic battles over the years with the most talented shooter in NBA history. As such, fans have long dreamed of a partnership between the two. It may be a more realistic possibility than ever this offseason. James just picked up his player option for $52.6 million, but his agent, Rich Paul, has also hinted at potential trade interest. The Boston Celtics appear to be a logical trade partner for James if the Los Angeles Lakers are forced to trade him. James has not directly demanded a trade, and there is still a good chance he could end his career in Los Angeles. However, Paul said, he knows the Lakers are building the future, he understands that, but he values a realistic chance to win it all. We are very grateful for the partnership we have had for 8 years with Jeannie and Rob, and consider the Lakers to be an essential part of his career. At the very least, these comments suggest that James is unhappy with the Lakers roster. At the most, they signal that he wants to move to a legitimate contender. James makes a great duo with Luka Doncic, another star who is among the best players in the NBA right now and the key piece of the blockbuster deal of the last trade deadline. However, the Doncic trade left the Lakers with some holes on the roster. Most notably, a lack of center depth has hurt the team in the postseason. While this proposed trade won't solve the big man problem in Los Angeles, it would better prepare them for the future. Leaked video confirmed that James likely only has 1 or 2 more seasons left. Doncic has never been a defensive ace or a known running back, but he could mask some of the flaws of the player who the Lakers have made the longtime face of the franchise. The Lakers may want some draft capital in exchange for James, but they couldn't be too upset about trading a 40-year-old for a 6-time All-Star, especially considering reports have suggested teams would be hesitant to part with multiple players in a deal for James. That makes it unlikely they'll trade him for James. James is the superior player right now. The Boston Celtics may not be in a position to legitimately contend for a championship right now, so a gamble on a 4-time champion with 10 NBA Finals appearances could be fun. James's ability to drive and create plays, at 6'4" and 245 pounds, would pair perfectly with a shooter. From a roster-building perspective, it probably doesn't make sense to add James, but fans would remember decades from now when the greatest scorer of all time was paired with the greatest three-point shooter of all time, especially after all the epic NBA Finals battles they've shared before. And you fan? What do you think of LeBron James at the Boston Celtics? Leave your opinion in the comments.